trust me, it uh just does not like make sense to stream from such a low end device, because when I play Minecraft in like 480p on my laptop, it gives me around 60 fps. Okay, and if I like also send that whole thing into like, YouTube, okay, it will be unplayable for me. The stream will be very laggy. Oh, okay, now the audio came. And the chat will be empty. I'm talking to no one. I'm basically talking to myself right now. But yeah, let's try to do something for this thing. Well, I was working on this thing called like langching. Hey, that one. Hmm. Wait a second, why am I scrolling live? Like, why am I scrolling when I'm just, I don't know, just not say anything. Anyways, amazing idea. This. Okay, they take a tube light, they cut it, take out the. Okay, so okay, 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 okay. Okay. Yeah. Nice. So what is it now? Oh, emergency night lamp. भाई ये चीज़ हम कब से बना रहे हैं पता है सब चीज़. Anyways, to make sure that my CPU is not like uh, hot enough, like I don't want my CPU to reach like such high temperatures that it can even boil water. So what I will do is I will just quit my face cam. Yeah, there we go. And I might not be able to see your chats if you are watching it somehow. So okay, anyways. Okay, looks good. Looks good to me. Hmm. So let's watch this video together. Hmm. Wait, yeah, you cannot hear what this guy is saying. Let me quickly open up battery control once again. My goodness, this is something that I hate. No, no. Wait, yeah, you cannot hear what this guy is saying.
This allows you to programmatically authenticate your identity to the Hugging Face hub, allowing applications to perform specific actions specified by the scope of permission. So what you want to do, you should have nothing in this at this point. Just click on new token, give it a name. You can call it LLM with LangChain. That's what I call it. You can call it anything. You don't want to have this in your repository or anything. If you want to have it in your repo, just make sure you add it into your git ignore so that it's not accidentally committed onto GitHub. I keep mentioning this in every video because people keep doing the same thing. All right, so make sure that your token stays safe with you. Don't reveal it, don't share it with anyone. You should just click on the copy to just copy that, and then let's go back to our IDE and paste that in. So you could create a new .env file. I already have an env file, so it's not going to let me do that, but you should just go ahead and create an env file. I'm going to create env2, you should create env, and you should just put in the token that you pasted, and that should begin with a HF, and then it should give you the rest. So something like probably looks like that. All right. It should begin with HF, which stands for Hugging Face, and that's what you want to have here. You don't need an OpenAI API key, but you do need this. Make sure you name it env and not env2. I'm not going to show you my env2, but that is essentially what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to delete this file because I don't need it. Now, how do you bring that in? And we've seen this before. I've explained this before throughout the series as well. And you just do a from.env import load.env, and what you do is you just call it like this. And now everything that you define in the env file is going to be exposed into your environment, and you can use them freely in your code. And if you look at my address bar, you will see that this is the URL to this model, huggingface.co, that's .co, and then the name of the user, and then the name of the model, right? So MRM 8488, and then T5 base fine-tune wiki-SQL. So that's what you want. So you want to just either copy Control C, Control V, copy that. So I'm going to say this is my LLM, and I'm going to say Hugging Face hub, right? And give it an repo ID and paste that in. So paste everything in except remove the root and just have this. So this is your repo ID. And once you have done that, you are now free to go ahead and try and maybe have a chain. And this chain would be something like LLM chain. This is where you import it, and this is how you call it here. And you want to specify a prompt. So you could ask a question that you would expect to pass into the browser. So if you look at this, this is where you would try to pass in your input, right? Your prompt, and then you say compute, and you will get the output. That is exactly the same idea here. So you want to pass in your prompt, and you want to say, you know, maybe what is the, I don't know, average age of the respondents in the survey data. You could do something like this. You could try to be more specific, saying that maybe using a mobile data. Add a qualifier to it if you want to. That is kind of your prompt, all right? But what is more common in this kind of workflow is you set up some sort of template so that you can swap like template strings. Or if you code in Python, you have the F string, or if you code in JavaScript, you have the template literal string. That's kind of the same thing here. So instead of actually coding it that way, we are actually going to bring in the prompt template. So how do we do that? We say from LangChain. This is something to do with the prompts. So we're going to import them from the prompts submodule, and we say import, we're going to say prompt template. And instead of hard coding it that way, we're going to just create our prompt, and we say prompt template, and now we define our input variables. And I want to have, let's say, question. This is where I could call it passing in something and say that is my input variable as a question, and then it will fit that question into the rest of the string. So this is kind of a fancy F string in a way, right? So you can say template, and what would the template be? So this is the rest of the string, and you could say something like, hey, please translate this for me. Please translate this from English, or translate English just to make it a bit shorter. Translate English to SQL for me, please. You could say something like this. And then you want to pass in your question. So you create a simple template that you can use. You could just go ahead and say prompt would just use this template. So let's define that template. And then we say the LLM, this would just refer to this one, hub LLM. So let's do that. And again, I like to print everything to be supposed to be true because I like to see the step by step of what it's doing and what are the thought process getting us to a certain answer. So I like to actually just print verbose true. At least in development mode, I like to keep it on. And then I would just go ahead and print the response for that. So I could say print and say hub chain.run. This is very similar to a lot of things we've done up to this point of the series. All right, you can put a question in here. Whatever I pass in here is going to be fed into the question, which is then going to be fitted into the rest of the template. So it's going to, let me just write a prompt here first. I'm going to say, what is the average age of the respondents in the survey data, or using a mobile device? I don't know, something, right? Quick question. Now this is going to be fitted into the rest of this template. It's going to take this as the question. That's your input variable. It's going to pass that in, and then now the template is going to append. In this case, it's actually prepending this, and then pass the whole thing onto this model, and then it's gonna, because you call it .run, it's gonna run, execute, give you the result back, right? So save all of that. Let's go ahead, make sure we're in the right environment, and let's say Python demo4.py. And what do you know? I actually don't have a Hugging Face Hub API token, so let me go and fix that right now. Okay, I've done that already. So it tells me that it did not find a Hugging Face API token, and you expect that. But I did call the load.env. So what happened? What happened is I forgot to modify my env. When I was showing you in the demo, I was using .env2. I wasn't using env, and then when I delete that, it wasn't actually persisted anywhere. So I sort of go into env, and I did what I just told you to do. Just append that line, add a line, and I put Hugging Face hub underscore API underscore token, and then put in your hf underscore whatever else, right? So now that I've done that, let's go ahead and run it again. It's done. So it says this is the prompt after formatting. So it says translate English to SQL. So it basically take my template, translate English to SQL, and then it append the question into it. So what is the average age? So again, like I said, if you don't want to do that, you could just have no prompt. But it's common to use prompt templates because you usually want to build applications that give some sort of context, provide some sort of tone, say that, okay, maybe assume the role of a CEO, try to give this advice. So you want to have some sort of context, and prompt template is a way for you to just add those things. Context for your user, for your end user in your application, to be able to give better prompts, to give more contextual prompts, all right? So that's what prompt engineering really is, right? So what is the average age of the respondents using a mobile device? That is appended, and now it takes that and it gave us the result, and that's select average AGE years from table where device equals to mobile. I want to say this is about, maybe it's almost correct, but it's quite bad, because this is not valid SQL. You don't actually do that, like select average. So what you want to have is, you want to have something like average, or you.
भाई तुम हो कौन? तुम हो कौन? ये जरा बता देना जरा. तब फिर से जाके
use the capital average, and then you have your model. So you want to maybe have like the average year, for example. That would be what you do. You could name it as average year if you want, but you don't have to select average. And in fact, if you try and maybe ask about median, I think you will not understand that as well. So let's try and do that. Demo4.py. So now the question is, what is the median age of the respondents? And it gave you the select median age years. Again, it's very a bit naive, a bit simplistic. You just replace the AVG with median, and that's.
Love you too, buddy. बस नाम बता देना, काम हो जाएगा. That would be better. बस नाम बता दो.
Not the right way you do it. That's not how you compute a median using SQL. So it's not perfect, all right? Basic stuff it could do, all right, but it's not perfect. If you really want to get better performance from natural language query, you should watch my earlier video, which is about using GPT-3 to query, right, your CSV file, your SQLite file, your databases, and that is a lot more performance. GPT-3, GPT-4, ChatGPT, all of these are so much better. So what you realize is that at this point, right, the T5 model was supposed to be, this is Google's T5 model. It's not really that performant in terms of, it doesn't really do a good job at translating English to SQL. Maybe for simplistic tasks, for more simpler queries, maybe a select from where you could do that.